well, kind of a goofy little unit. My understanding is this comes out of Europe. It's called a new camp. And, you know, it's kind of neat how it's manufactured. Little nooks and crannies everywhere. Your control panels here. Sink that the lid shuts on it, and then it flips like this, and then the faucet flips up to be able to use it. So it's kind of a neat unit. The beds use these little plastic support things to help make it feel like you're not sleeping on cardboard like you do in a typical RV mattress. Not sure how much that really helps, but it's probably better than what we do. But the task at hand is an Alde 3010 compact. And when this trailer came in, this control panel didn't work. And it still doesn't. And, you know, I've got power here and power here. So, still doesn't work. Came in. My initial troubleshoot on it was we probably got a blown fuse somewhere. And so, got down in here and I checked power, ground, verified I had power, ground, but I had nothing out on the control board wires. So, that's a fuse right there. That's a fuse right there. And I managed to drop one way at the bottom, and that was a lot of not of fun putting it back in. So I decided after that, and I still didn't have power on my control board output wires, probably had a bad board. Well, then I started looking at it, and I realized that in the schematics down here, let's see if I can get to it. Well, anyway, underneath this plug, and I'll show you here in a little bit, is a thermal fuse. And I don't know why there's a flipping thermal fuse on a circuit board, but anyway, there's a thermal fuse under there, and it's popped. So what we're going to do is pull this circuit board out of here, and we're going to replace the thermal fuse. I found some on Amazon for, they're smoking cheap. I think they're 29 degrees Celsius thermal fuses. This is a through board design on this, so it'll be easy to solder in a new one. So I'll be back with you shortly. We're gonna pull this board and put in a new thermal fuse. All right, so here's our thermal fuse, and I'm having a hard time getting this board all the way out of here because of some wires. I can't get disconnected for some reason. So I'm out far enough that I can get to the back of the circuit board and desolder it and put a new one in. I've got, in measuring, I've got 12 volts here. I have nothing on there. Now, thermal fuses are biased like a diode, so make sure that it goes back in the same direction that you pulled it back out. All right, fingers crossed. Woohoo, menu. Okay, we're gonna call that good. It's on. If it doesn't work from there, then it's got a bunch of other problems and I'll play with it. But the thermal fuse was the problem as suspected. There is a guy on eBay that shows he'll replace them, but it's like $60 for a $3 part. The one thing you have to remember about thermal fuses is that they are a thermal fuse. And if you get them too hot while soldering, they pop. And so normally you can use like a roach clip. They've got some specialty stuff that helps divert the heat away from the center point of this. I apparently didn't have a good enough grip on it with my heat distribution. I use a roach clip and a 10 amp or a 10 gauge piece of wire generally when I'm doing stuff like this, just to keep the heat off. And I blew two of them. But the third one I was a lot more careful with and a little quicker, and et cetera, and checked it before I put it back in. We have a functioning one. Yay!